What up everyone, it's your man XMan87 here, bringing you another Marvel Legends video, and what I have for you today is my top 15 Marvel Legends Wolverine wish list. But before we get into everything, if you could please leave a thumbs up, like rating on the video, it'll help show your support for my channel and I greatly appreciate it. So in continuation of the 50th anniversary of Wolverine Commemoration, this is the second part of my two-part planned video. The first part being my top 10 favorite Marvel Legends Wolverine figures. If you missed that, I encourage you to go check out my last video. Those of you who know me already know that Astonishing X-Men Wolverine costume is the one I want most, and I'm 100% positive we'll get an updated one soon, but that's not the game we are playing here, since that costume has been made before. The game here is the top 15 Wolverine costumes I want made in Marvel Legends that have never been made before in the line. I wanted to make sure those that I pick from my list are not just ones I want just because, but those that'll be beneficial and expand some of my thematic displays from comics, animation, movie, etc. Before I officially start, just going over some quick honorable mentions. Symbiote Wolverine, it would be a great pick for a Venom wave and would bolster my symbiote display. And Skrull Wolverine, just like the symbiotes, the Skrulls are another army I love to keep expanding. Extreme Wolverine, don't know if Hasbro will ever get to making an Extreme X-Men team one day, but I'd love to see it. Then lastly, Wolverine PS5, one I considered heavily to make it on my list, but didn't make it because I have yet to see the Insomniac costume design. I know there's leaks, but anything can change, and I'll just wait for the final look. All I can go by for now is what was shown from the trailer, and he's just in his civilian clothing, which from the looks of this pic, they can just reuse that new Logan upper body from the Sabretooth 2-pack and give it a plaid deco. I'm excited for that game, even though it won't drop until 2026, but I'll be looking forward to any Marvel Legends merchandise related to the game. Now with that said, and without further ado, let's begin the countdown. Kicking things off at the number 15 spot, World War II Wolverine. As a huge Captain America fan, this is an important lore here for his mythos. I think this would make for a good military figure, and I'm a fan of military figures mainly because of G.I. Joe, so if I can put this with my G.I. Joes or Action Force, then hell yeah, I'm down for it. I'd love for this to go with the Ultimate Riders World War II cap from 2019. They would look so good together. I could see this version of Wolverine in either a 3-pack with Cap and Bucky, or a Cap Wave. As long as this comes with a classic Bucky Barnes, I'm game. Number 14, Savage Land Wolverine. This would be my throwback pick from the 90s Toy Biz days. I had that Savage Land Wolverine figure and it was so cool. And since it seems like we'll be getting more Savage Land themed figures with the upcoming Kazar and Zabu Bath, this will help universe building for that theme. Plus, some parts can be shared with the next pick on my list. Number 13, Fang. Like I said in my last pick, you can see where the shared parts would be beneficial. I said in my Cha'ad Bath Wave review when I was covering Fang, what they should have done was put him on the Wolverine bug since he's short and given us a Wolverine alt head and his claws as alt hands. Sure, Fang was tall in some iterations, but mainly was short during that time when Wolverine donned the Fang costume. How else was he going to fit in that costume? Missed opportunity, as that would have worked perfectly. Also, just for fun, an X-23 in her Fang costume would be something I'm down for as well. If made, I would like to put him in my Imperial Guard display. Number 12, the Ablation Armor. Just a badass Wolverine costume. This armor was created by Superior Spider-Man in order to protect Wolverine after he lost his healing factor abilities to a microvirus and could be able to withstand a blast of a small nuke. Spider-Man's genius should never be underestimated, as he made artificial adamantium claws that retracted from Wolverine's gauntlets so that he didn't have to keep injuring himself popping the claws from his hands since losing his healing factor. So if you see him with the claws out of his hands in this costume, that fix Spider-Man made was the solution. Hopefully the figure will give us both claw hands and the gauntlet claws to switch up. He'll also need trigger hands since he used the gun too. With some metallic gold paint on the armored parts, this figure would go hard. I like seeing shared characters appear in different waves, like Daredevil in a Spidey wave, for example. And since Wolverine has been a part of Spider-Man mythos, it'll be nice to see him make a guest appearance in a Spider-Man wave. Number 11, Samurai Wolverine. I always wanted to see Wolverine in his samurai gear. I know Mezco Toys made a really cool 5 Ronin Samurai Logan figure, so it would be cool to see it for Marvel Legends. I'm down for either him in his Ronin armor or just a regular kimono. Definitely a lot of new parts would be required for this, so I can see it being an exclusive to a multi-pack of some sort. Maybe a 2-pack with Yukio, or perhaps an Ogun being his former mentor. Mariko as the Scarlet Samurai. Would be cool to get more Old Man Logan characters. As long as the character fits that Ronin or Samurai type, then I think it would make for a really cool multi-pack offer. Number 10, Death, Horsemen of Apocalypse. We could definitely use some Horsemen for Apocalypse in the line. I know we had an alt head of Death for Archangel, but having Wolverine as Death would one-up that for me. This would most likely be a unique sculpt, but I can maybe see if they do indeed make a Samurai Wolverine that it's possible to share some parts since Hasbro loves to kit bash, but this would be totally fine making it an acceptable and clever reuse if so. Again, big maybe. Depends. If they do the Armored Ronin version over the kimono, then yeah, they can pull off some shared parts. See the pattern here? You can see how I constructed this list together, trying to connect one to the next that might be able to work for each other. I could see this being a tier for a HasLab Apocalypse, but hopefully his main horsemen are in the base offering and not the tiers. I would hate to miss out on a main horseman if those tiers don't hit. But I think this, with some attachable weaponry limbs, would be a safe play for tiers. Number 9, Battle Damaged Wolverine. I've said this many times, but a Battle Damaged Wolverine would be so freaking awesome. I'm not talking about the minor battle damage like on that Fever Dream Wolverine from the 5-pack with a couple of paper cuts. Or just a torn mask with some hair poking out like the Love Triangle 3-pack. I'm talking about something edgy and hardcore like that zombie Captain America. Imagine seeing how like that figure had punctured holes onto a Wolverine figure with the adamantium bones exposed. Painted in a metallic silver for that extra visual pop. Oh man, that would be awesome. Reminds me of the Wolverine Origins video game when the healing factor ability would kick in. What an amazing game that was. That's what I love to see from my comic characters in figure form, is to showcase their abilities, and in this case, Logan's healing factor, as he's able to withstand severe amounts of damage. Do an alternate head with half of his face torn off, exposing his adamantium skull. It would make him look menacing. I know the Beltran bros did a phenomenal custom with that. Question is, what kind of battle damage Wolverine would they tackle? Could they go for something where Magneto pulled the adamantium out of his bones? Those punctured holes would work to plug in that effect of the adamantium molecules ripping out. Or do they go with something else? Hell, I would be down for a complete adamantium skeleton look for Wolverine to give it that Terminator look. That would be insane. I have a feeling we might get a battle damage Wolverine in a 2-pack with an updated comic Magneto. Hopefully Magnus is done justice finally and given the right proportions. Could be as soon as this year as part of the 50th anniversary 2-pack. That would be my wild card pick if there is one more 2-pack planned for it. Number 8, the 1996 Savage Wolverine. Speaking of Magneto ripping Wolverine's adamantium off his bones, we were all shocked discovering Wolverine's bone claws underneath all that. This led to long-term storytelling over the next few years, as in 1996 Wolverine went into a regressive overdrive, taking on a more bestial form than man, becoming the Savage Wolverine. It was like he was hitting some sort of pubescent Neanderthal stage, man. He looked more feral than ever before with his deformities. What was cool about this look was that he crafted whatever materials from his tattered tiger-striped suit to alter this costume. Then the fingerless gloves with the huge bone claws and the blue bandana just made him look like such a savage. No pun intended. Man, I love those X-Men Onslaught days. That's where I can see this figure fit in. If not a retail release, then if they ever do a HasLab Final Form Onslaught, this would make sense for a tier to fit with that story arc and coincide with characters like Joseph for other tiers. I think it would make for an awesome tier. Number 7, Werewolf Wolverine. You want to get my 90s blood pumping? Then give me all those crazy obscurities from that era. When I was a kid watching this appear in the 90s X-Men cartoon for a brief stint, I thought it was wild. Even more wild was Toy Biz did this for their 90s X-Men Mutant Monsters series, and that was one of my favorite toys at that time, featuring howling sounds, and he had a slashing action gimmick. I think werewolves are awesome, and not many werewolf figures are made, really. Definitely need an all-new sculpt, and you know what? Some parts could then be used for a Werewolf by Night figure, or vice versa, whichever comes first. If they ever do a Bathwave for X-Men the Animated Series, this would be a crazy over-the-top pick. Number 6, S.H.I.E.L.D. Agent Wolverine. So this is from a What If story where Logan was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. You know me, guys, I have an entire shelf display dedicated to S.H.I.E.L.D., so this would help bolster my S.H.I.E.L.D. rankings and add another character to the army. And with all the S.H.I.E.L.D. love we've been getting lately year after year, from the 2-pack, then the female agents, to now the 3-pack with Fury, Carter, and Dum Dum, this is definitely a high possibility. Now with the new S.H.I.E.L.D. bodies having sculpted boots, I can see them doing a great job adding new aesthetics to the Wolverine body buck. I needed this on my S.H.I.E.L.D. shelf like yesterday. Like I stated earlier, this wish list will consist of Wolverine figures that'll help expand upon my displays, and this for sure is one of them. Number 5, pulling from the Foxman films, the movie Weapon X version. So in my Wolverine ranking video, you already know the esteemed love I have for the Weapon X figure and the respect behind all that lore. I want to spread that love over to the movie side and have a Hugh Jackman Weapon X figure to display on my movie shelf. This is my movie pick for the list. I wasn't going to pick the Deadpool 3 movie one because even though not revealed yet, they already confirmed this coming and it's being made. So just a reminder, folks, this list is for Wolverine costumes not yet made in Legends. So I'm not going to waste time putting something that's already being made. Now, this is the X2 movie version, and it was so close to being comic accurate, just a few alterations like with the helmet and the cargo shorts instead of the Speedos. But when you see it all together with the harness and all that wiring through the control boxes, you still get that Weapon X look and feel captured from comic to film. It looked glorious. I feel the Wolverine movie claws are the best looking claws in the line, and on top of all this, it would just make the figure look even more amazing. Number 4, Age of Apocalypse Weapon Omega. After making a deal with the Celestials because the world failed their evolutionary and planetary standards, Weapon X sacrificed his own humanity so they wouldn't destroy the world. He was bestowed with the Death Seed augmented by the Celestials, and from there, similar to Apocalypse, his only mission was about Earth's evolutionary destiny. You know I gotta hit you with some of the comic knowledge as I make my picks. And now this would be one sick-ass figure with a ton of heavy-duty sculpting. I know it may look like Wolverine cosplaying as Apocalypse, but the design is insane. The handless arm turned into the Omega Cannon, the tubes, and all the other heavy aesthetics going on. As a huge fan of AOA, both past and present, this would be a great choice for a modern AOA wave, or just an AOA wave in general. Number 3, Team X Wolverine. My longtime followers will know that this one is up there for me and was gonna end up in my top 3. For those that aren't familiar in the comics, Team X was a Black Ops team created by the CIA and the people behind the Weapon X program in the 60s, sometime around the Cold War, with their biggest mission being to retrieve the carbonadium synthesizer from Omega Red. I have a huge nostalgic attachment to this one. You probably remember it from the 90s Toy Biz days, labeled as Spy Wolverine, and that one was one of my favorite Wolverine toys as a kid. I just think this would make for a great looking Wolverine figure. Hasbro made one for their 4-inch line, and if you follow the patterns, they like to dig into those archives to see what they can bring into the 6-inch line from that vault. The layering would be awesome with all the straps, holsters, and such. With this, I could get what I want in a Wolverine S.H.I.E.L.D. agent out of this mold, and the black and gold armor would slap, man. That's if they go with gold. They might go with yellow. What do you prefer? I'm fine with either color. Love the look with the visor and the comlink attached to it. Hope we get two heads out of it, a visor up and the other on. I can see this being in a Team X 3-pack with Sabretooth and Maverick, or a 4-pack with Silver Fox, who has been on my wish list forever. Or I'll throw you a crazy bone here. You ready? A Team X versus Predator box set. Now that Disney owns the Predator franchise and who is now a part of the Marvel Universe, who faced off against Team X in the comics, it would be an incredible Marvel Legends debut for Predator. What a first time in the line moment it would be. I don't care for anyone who says they won't top NECA, because it's not about that for me. It's about getting the character in Marvel Legends form to fit in my Marvel Legends collection. I got a NECA one, Mezco is another one that's great. Besides, nothing wrong with owning multiple figure versions of a character that you are a fan of. However they do it, they need to get it done with the rest of the team. Number 2, Albert. Talk about one of the craziest designs for Wolverine in the 90s. If you are looking for a Wolverine figure that'll kick ass from this list, then this is one of them. He's a robotic replica of Wolverine created by the Reavers leader himself, Donald Pierce, to kill Wolverine. Albert managed to grow beyond his programming thanks to upgrades and enhancements from LCD. He instead became somewhat of an ally to Wolverine. Another 90s Toy Biz nostalgic piece I owned with having swappable robotic arms. It was a really fun toy. I could see Hasbro maybe giving us something like that with at least one arm. If no swappable options, and I'm sure it'll still look awesome. This will at least have to be 95% newly tooled. Definitely give me some head portraits too, as I want to see more of that amazing stitched up robotic visage. This could be released on a retro card, but I'm hoping a multi-pack with the Reavers leader version of Donald Pierce and LCD. One thing is for sure, I need to have this figure with the rest of the Reavers on my shelf. And at the number 1 spot, I have Wolverine from X-Men Evolution, the animated series. This is the one Wolverine costume I want for Marvel Legends above all. The black and orange color combo was so badass, and whoever thought of this suit idea with this color combo is a genius. It's colors I didn't even know I needed on Wolverine, and for some, this was their definitive Wolverine growing up. And I'm not gonna argue that, as your definitive version is what you grew up with. I grew up in the 90s, so you know my definitive version is Tiger Stripe, and Evolution didn't come out until the year 2000 when I was just 13 years old. But talking to so many X-Men fans over the years, I know many have told me that this was the best Wolverine costume design ever. And I will say, it's definitely one of the best, and I love this show. To be honest, I love this costume more than the Outback Brown suit, I'll tell you that much. And I still have that X-Men Evolution Wolverine figure somewhere. I'll have to bust it out one day. I know I still use that Danger Room accessory it came with in my Danger Room diorama. For me, they don't have to execute the animation style to please me here. They can keep the comic body style since they like to fit things in universally. They just need a new masked head. They could do the Logan head in the animation style. I'm fine with that. The buckled up gloves and boots with the straps, armored knee pads, then a new layered belt, and we are good to go. I can see this along with X-23 in anchoring an X-Men Evolution wave. That's if Hasbro ever decides to do it, but I would love to get that Magneto version too, as he looked so menacing with the blacked out face and the all white pupils. It's been 24 years since the show first aired, and maybe next year, as a 25th anniversary, they can do something special for it with a few releases. Not relying on it, it's just a wish that would make me extremely happy as an X-Men fan. Now I kick it back to you. What did you think of my Marvel Legends wishlist for Wolverine costumes? Are there some that didn't make my list that you would love to see? Also, which ones on my list are ones you really want to see in the line? Comment below, let me know, we'll chat about it. Thanks for watching another Marvel Legends video. Please follow me on Instagram if you haven't already at xman87. Hit the notification bell so you always know when my latest videos are up. Share and subscribe if you're new. See you on the next video. Peace, peace.